Welcome to today's session about JOYN integration. The best and the recommended way to integrate data with JOYN is to use its integration REST APIs. JOYN has got a lot of integration APIs which helps in data exchange between various source systems and JOYN. JOYN APIs do support master data and transactional data integrations. JOYN has bulk integration APIs which would help in very fast data exchange. Going to the data flow, for any source system data to get integrated with JOYN, we can utilize JOYN integration APIs. JOYN shares documentation about all its integration APIs. The documentation would contain the endpoint information, the method information, the request payload structures, the response payload structures, and other information. Now, say for example, if we want to integrate our set production allocations data with JOYN, the first thing we need to do is to pick the right JOYN integration API to achieve the same. In this case, the API is readings upload API. So once we pick the API, now we need to send the production allocations data to JOYN integration API in the predefined structure as per the documentation. Then you would have the allocation data in JOYN. The same way, if we want to create a work order from SAP PM to JOYN, in this case, we'll be using task bulk API and send the entire work order information in the payload as per the structure in the documentation. Then the work order would be created in JOYN. So let me go through the structure, payload structure and all. Let me explain the entire creation of the work order using JOYN integration APIs in detail. So what do we need to create a work order in a JOYN? The first thing is you have to define what kind of task it is, what kind of work order it is. In this case, we have defined that it's a corrective work order. Okay, and then I have to define asset type. So this is the payload, request payload, which I'm explaining. And then you can define the work order information, number, and you can define the event source and all. So these all constitutes to the header information of the work order. You would have more information like the steps. What are the steps in the work order? You can cover those steps in the template section. So in this case, I've created I've defined energy isolation would be the step 1, followed by stage parts, followed by 3-man crew, followed by man lift, and finally, once the work is completed, it's the return to service. You can also define dependencies between individual steps. Say, for example, here I defined return to service is dependent on the previous task, which is man lift. So unless the man lift task is completed, the return to service task can't be started. Okay. So let me copy this entire payload and go here. So this is what you see is the JOYN APIs documentation, some of the APIs documentation. So to utilize any of the JOYN APIs, you first need to have an ID token, which will be issued by the API login API. Okay. So in this case, I have I will not be logging in. I already have the ID token. So let me utilize that. I've authorized it, close. Let me copy this again, the payload which we have discussed. Go back. Now, we would be using the API task bulk for this purpose. Let me open this documentation. So it has the sample structure and all. So let me try it out. I've just copied the the payload request into the request body, and I will be executing this. The API has processed successfully. Let me check the response. The response body, if you see the success was true, the API got processed successfully, and the message says processed one item. So it got processed and item got created, the work order got created. Let us see that on the admin side. This is the work order which we have created now. Let me edit it. Yeah. So if you see all the data we have integrated, like the description, the work order number, everything is on the task. And also the steps, in detail steps, the template. We have to capture those as well. The steps are energy isolation followed by stage parts, 3-man crew, man left, return to service, their appropriate asset locations, and their dependencies. For example, as we said, return to service is depend on man left, and so on. So this is about the JOYN integration. Please reach out to us if in case of any questions. We would be more than happy to help you out. Have a nice day. Thank you.